Ooh, welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Nerds. I am your Taicho, which also means leader. Yeah, I know, that's a new one. I am your Taicho, Zane. As always, I am joined by my fantastic co-host, the Gentlemanly Gamer. How are you, good sir?
Okay, first of all, whose leader are you?
I'm the leader of the pack.
No. I love you very much, Zane, but yeah, yeah, you are the Task Force X leader who immediately gets killed on the beach. That's who you are. Hello, everyone in Radio Land. How are we this week, Zane? How are you? I noticed something very noticeable about your screen. You've finally given up the ghost and gone with just Zane this week.
Yeah, I have actually. I should do something about that soon.
Yeah, you should. It's only been like 2 months since you lost the bet.
Yeah, here I am still trying to figure things out.
For first-time listeners, Zane on this show used to be referred to as Senpai Zane. He then lost a bet on our sister show. I can't remember what it's called now. Undisputed. What is it? Otakuverse.
Undisputed Anime.
That's it. Undisputed Anime. That was it. Sorry, it went out of my head for 5 seconds. Yeah, so he could no longer use the senpai in his name. So we've been trying to get a name for Zane, and he's been rejecting everything. I'm still going to stick with Champagne Zane, but he hates it, so that works for me even better. But yes, you having a good week other than that?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm trying to think if I did anything worth mentioning. I mean, the only thing that I could say is I picked up a What If Funko of Star-Lord T'Challa.
Oh, that's very cool.
I think I might put that in my PC, but yeah, nothing else.
In your PC?
Yeah, I've got like a case PC, so it's got like LED lights and all that sort of stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when people have money. And I do not have any money, so my PC looks like a big black box, basically. But on the plus side, if it's in a plane crash, it will always survive. So that's the main thing. So there you go. Well, that's good. I'm glad you've had a nice week of just buying everything that you want. Wish I could. He's so young, folks. He's so young. It's been a good week, thank you, Zane. Yeah, it's been a very good week. Yeah. It's gone very quickly, which is excellent. I'm very happy that it's gone so quickly, because most weeks at the moment they've been, post-pandemic. You're kind of getting back used to everything, and sometimes it can drag. But this week has been lickety split, which has been lovely. I obviously went to the cinema this week as well, which we'll talk about a bit later. It's been a good one. It's been a good one.
Nice.
Nice. But what happened this week, Zane? What was going on in the world of nerd?
Ooh, we had DC Fandome 2021.
I think it's worth saying at this point, guys, we're not going to do. So normally what we would do is we would normally kick off with our traditional tips and bits and go into it. But this week is going to be we're going to look at Fandome because there was a lot of news that came out of that. So we're going to look at some of our highlights of it. We'll talk in general about the stuff that happened. Look at some of our highlights of it, and then I think we're going to talk about Venom as well, aren't we, Zane? Which we've both seen this week, and long-term listeners of the show will, I'm sure, be itching to hear my reaction to Venom. Let There Be Bum. Which I'm trying to clean it up for, but yes, it'll be interesting. Anyway, would you like to kick us off, Champagne Zane?
Yes. So kicking things off just like they did at the Fandome, we got greeted by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, I'm not saying he's here right now, but
what? Wait, what? Oh my god! He's in your PC. You put him in the Perspex box in your PC.
Just as much LED and green screen. But we got our first look at Black Adam whilst it's in post-production right now. But we got a sneak peek. What did you think of the sneak peek, by the way?
Okay, okay. Can we just begin with the introduction to and then where you've got what I can only describe as a silver fox Pierce Brosnan talking about being Dr. Fate and saying it's the most it's the most incredible thing he's ever seen, and he's done 4 James Bond movies. I was like,
that surprised me the way he just went straight into that. And I've done 10 years of James Bond. And
I know. I was like, just a reminder, guys. Daniel Craig is not the only James Bond out there. I was James Bond. Was it me, or did you think that Pierce Brosnan's voice sounded slightly different? I thought he sounded a lot more gruffer than he has done previously. I wonder if I hope he's okay, because I feel like there's a problem with his voice, because he sounded very gruff. Sorry, I'm just seeing if I've got something in my hair on the cam. I did have a piece of fluff in my hair. Sorry, guys, for those watching. But yeah, he sounded a lot more gruff in the intro. I thought, if you look back at when he's Bond, he's gone very
yeah, but I guess that can be old age, and I don't know if he's a smoker or not.
Thanks, Zane. Thanks very much. Basically calling me out for having a go at him being old. I think you'll find, Gigi, that is age. That's what does that to your voice.
Time is not nice.
Oh, speaking of time, he's playing Dr. Fate. Lovely segue there. Yeah, the thing that I found really interesting about this intro as well was the fact that it was they're very clearly trying to set up a Justice Society, because you've got him, you've got Hawkman, you've got Atom Smasher. And there's another one who I cannot remember who it was. There was somebody else, a female superhero. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, it's weird to me that they're setting up a Justice Society in Black Adam, which I guess it kind of makes sense, because you Black Adam, for me, at the most, I wish Drac was here to talk about this, because he is, as I said, he's a Black Adam fanboy, and the most famous Black Adam storyline I know of is after the formation of the New 52. There was a storyline which was, I think it was just called 52, and it led into World War III, which was basically Black Adam and Kandak declaring war against the world.
Okay,
and it's really good. It's really, really good. If you guys are
Jeff Johns one.
Yes, I think so.
I know he was doing a lot of Shazam and Black Adam.
Hang on. Let me check. Keep talking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeff Johns did a lot of Shazam material during the New 52.
I can confirm, Zane, it was Jeff Johns and Grant Morrison as well.
Ooh.
Yes, it's really good. It is it's basically after the formation of the New 52, the Trinity disappear for a while. So there are I can't remember where they go, but basically there's no superheroes around, and that's when Booster Gold steps up, and it becomes effectively a Booster Gold story. But there's obviously other things interwoven into it. Anyway, we're tangenting. Anyway, that's the most famous kind of Black Adam story that I know, besides him being in Captain Marvel. So I guess they couldn't really do that. Well, I mean, they could have done. God knows what DC are doing with their slate, but they couldn't really do that. So it looks like they're going to introduce a Justice Society versus Black Adam story, which is kind of cool. I guess it's kind of all right. I question, I do question the introduction of the Justice Society in quite a ham-fisted way. Because Dr. Fate is not an easy character to explain. You know what I mean? No. You just go, oh yeah, he's a time bloke. There you go, sorted. And he's got a cool bell-looking helmet. Yeah, he's a time wizard, exactly. Yeah, he's like Doctor Who without the box, all right? Yeah, there you go. And he's got some weird onks. That's what he does.
Straight away, I had to explain to my wife the difference between Dr. Fate and Doctor Strange.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting story, isn't it, to say that, Marvel really have cornered the market on unique heroes, and then it does now look like DC are following in their wake rather than coming up with their own ideas. Because I mean, you've got people who can shrink and people who can grow, Atom Smasher.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Ant-Man? Well, I mean, sort of, yeah. And then you got you got doctors who control magic and stuff. Oh, you mean Doctor Strange? Well, Well,
Is he played by Pierce Brosnan though?
well, that's true.
Mm.
That's true. No, he is played by Sherlock Holmes, though, technically, isn't he?
Ooh, these British actors.
Another Bond, a British institution like Bond. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was just looking up. You've got Cyclone. It's
Cyclone,
Maxine Huckle, I think is how you pronounce the surname. But yeah, Cyclone.
Yeah, let's go with that. But yeah, anyway, the only thing I was slightly, we got a very, so in this featurette, sorry, I'll start talking properly in a minute. In this featurette, Black Adam looked kind of weird. Like he looked like, I mean, he was like in chains and imprisoned, and I don't know, it kind of, I guess I'm very used to seeing, like, for lack of a better word, standing proud Black Adam, you know, where he's always like really upright, like with his arms crossed and like kind of weirdly Namor-esque, like in the book, but like always flying, always standing upright, flying and like with his arms crossed. And I don't know, it just kind of felt like a bit weird. I wonder which direction they're going to go in with the character. I hope he is going to be kind of similar to what he is in the books, where it's like this just dominant figure who doesn't care about anything apart from, well, I don't know whether, if they confirmed that Isis and his family from Kandaka is going to be in this or not. I don't know. There's Isis and there's Osiris as well.
Yeah, I've seen a few speculation, but nothing else. And I think in maybe even Young Justice. Oh no, I know Nobu is supposed to be the son of, like, I think it's Randall Savage, not Black Adam.
Okay.
But anyway, I could be confused. Well,
regardless, it's interesting. It is interesting. I am interested to see what they do with it. It's the problem I have. Right, here's the issue with fandom from the very top of the card, guys. With the one exception of Matt Reeves' Batman, all of this I was kind of like, oh yeah, it looks really good, but I kind of also know that they'll mess it up. You know what I mean? And it's like, what's it leading? What's the big picture here? Like, what are we going for? Are we doing a Justice Society so that we can do like a big bad? Are we doing a Flash movie so that we can do a big bad? I don't understand what the, you know, I get that there's the independent, like, you know, we're going to do our own feature films and keep them their own individual things. But by the same token, it just seems really messy. Like,
there's no roadmap, is there?
No, there's no guideline to what they want to do. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of shit. Let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And that's all they're doing. And it's, you know, it's not the first time they've done this. Like, Joker was a massive, like, you know, curveball before that they weren't like, who was expecting Joker to be super successful, and then it just turned out to be super successful. So I don't know. I loved these events, and I loved talking about some of the stuff that we're going to talk about later on. But yeah, just the whole thing to me just felt like a kind of like, oh, let's panic and throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks. There we go, cool, perfect. And Dwayne Johnson looked very, very strange in a green screen room. I will just say that as well. Yeah,
I feel like with I don't know what else to say about that.
You agreed so readily with that. You thought you agreed so readily. Like, yeah, he looks weird. Anyway, moving on. I don't want the Rock coming after me.
The backdrop is drawn by Jim Lee, so, you know, I don't know what more I could say about that. Like,
I think his body was also drawn by Jim Lee. I think they just. I don't think that was actually his body in the when he was doing the presentation. I think it was superimposed onto the Jim Lee drawing of Kevin Hart.
Amazing. That's so good. Yeah.
Welcome to Zane patronizing me, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear it here often.
Oh boy. Yeah, I feel like this could be just like a DC version of Scorpion King in some ways. As odd as that sounds.
No, I agree. At least this, I mean, you know, I look forward to the follow-up of Jungle Cruise DC version. That would be great. Get Animal Man in there.
Yeah, and also, like, maybe they went with a list of characters that they could use. They'd be like, oh, can we use Jay Garrick? And they're like, no. Can we use this character? No, but you can have this one.
Yeah, this is my problem with DC, right? With the exception of this, of Black Adam, what original character do we have? Exactly. Like, I mean, like, look at this year. I'm going to come across as a Marvel fanboy right now, and I apologize. I do love DC, and the reason why this is annoying me is that there are so many other characters that are so incredibly unique and interesting to DC, and the universe, and they're not using them. Right? Yeah. We've got the Flash, which the movie is so boring. They have to bring back a former Batman to make it interesting. You've got Matt Reeves, the Batman. Like, okay, fine, absolutely, I'm on board, 100% sold with it. Sure. You've got Aquaman. Like, I mean, like, okay, cool, that's great. And then the only new thing that I can really think of is Peacemaker, pretty much as a TV show, apart from Black Adam, obviously. But like Peacemaker, and like you look at the slate of Marvel this year. And it's like, what have we got as far as Marvel's concerned? You've got Shang-Chi. They've just done a Black Widow movie a solo Black Widow movie. You've got the Eternals coming out. I mean, what are we doing, Zane?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. We did get a release date for Black Adam, by the way, which was the 29th of the 7th, 2022.
Yeah. I'm sure Black Adam will be good. Like, it's The Rock is producing as well, isn't he? So
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be good. I have a very sinking suspicion with this that it's going to be a DC Black Adam as per The Rock production. Like, as in, like, it'll be very Dwayne Johnsonized, like a lot of Dwayne Johnson's films are now. Where it'll be like there'll have to be some kind of like key action sequence where he ends up looking tough and does the eyebrow. Like, that will have to be like folded into it, and I think it'll be very
kiss another woman.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it'll be very formulaically laid out, which may be a good thing. It may be a bad thing. I don't know. It'll make money because it's The Rock, but like, I don't know. And Pierce Brosnan, obviously, because did you know he did 10 years as Bond? But yeah, I don't know, dude. I think we'll go over what I was going to say at the end. But Black Adam looks good. It'll be an interesting film to watch. We'll see what happens with that.
What the future holds. Yeah.
What's next on your list of things, Zane?
I know you've already mentioned it, but Aquaman 2. It's been 4 years since the last Aquaman movie.
Which is weird. It's very weird. That's gone very quickly. To be fair, we all lost a year.
Yes,
so that's probably why it felt like it hasn't been that long. But yeah.
Apparently, from the behind the scenes sort of footage we got, it was mentioned that this is more of an environmental story, which is interesting.
Yes.
They started filming July this year here in the UK. And it looks like Black Manta is still out for vengeance.
Yeah. Is it I can't remember. Did they confirm if it was still Yahya Abdul-Mateen II?
Yeah, he's still coming back.
Which is, he's gonna have a busy couple of years with the Matrix and everything as well. Like,
definitely.
What can I say about Aquaman? I mean, I think Jason Momoa is great. I question how much longer he's going to do on this. If I can tell you right now, if June becomes successful, he has a major part in June as part of House of Trackers. So if June becomes successful, I can see this being the last time he is Aquaman for a long time.
Do you reckon?
Well, they'll need to like tie him up to other productions, won't they? So like, I'd be very surprised if he signs on to do more Aquaman after this one. I hope. I'm not going to go into controversial statements on this and other things like that. I'm not a huge fan of Amber Heard, especially not as Mira. From what I've seen, I don't think she's a particularly nice person. But I can't see her coming back again either from her choice or from Warner Brothers. So, yeah. I mean, there's only so many places you can go with Aquaman, isn't there, really, solo-wise?
Yeah, like, it's... With this, it'd be interesting, like you say, because there's only, like, a handful of, like, really good Aquaman-like stories. Like you said, the New 52 one with Jeff Johns again is kind of really memorable, because he almost rewrote
Yeah, the trench and stuff he came up with on that,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, that's a really good run. But like again, it's bad guys, man. It's like, what good bad guys does Aquaman have?
Yeah.
All the ones
I
we've pretty much seen already.
yeah. Also, I think in the 90s, there's the story where he loses his hand, isn't there? And then
Oh
they
yeah,
put a
okay.
fish up.
That is good. That is good. I'll give you that. Yeah, I would like to see him hooking up for sure. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's all about, normally Aquaman stories are normally about Atlantis being challenged by a usurper like King Shark or whatever the guy's name was. I can't remember what the guy's
Ocean
name was.
Master?
Yeah, Ocean Master. Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. So yeah, it's there's a normally his standard affairs, unless there's like a world threat where he's part of the Justice League. So
Yeah.
I hope what they do, DC really does need to start looking at the way that Marvel have structured themselves, because they really have cracked the code as far as like box office is concerned, as well as like coherent storytelling.
Yeah.
And why does Aquaman have to have a solo movie? Like, put him with someone. Like, there's every, I like an Aquaman Flash movie would actually be kind of interesting, and there's plenty of villains that they could use that are on Flash's side that are better than Aquaman's villains, and it's, I don't know, it just, again, not really hyped about Aquaman 2. Like, Aquaman 1 was fine, but it's I think the thing that we're learning about DC is that without any kind of roadmap and guidelines, fans of this stuff now, the world has changed. Like, we're expecting shared universes, we're expecting coherent stories woven into each other. Even James Bond did it, for goodness sake. Like we had like 5 films of James Bond, and they were all interlaced together. And it's I just feel like all of this is like, it's cool for a standalone movie, but I mean, is it leading to anything, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's I have to admit, I really enjoyed the first Aquaman. Like, I think I watched it quite recently, and I was like, this is actually a really good little film.
Yeah, it's good
in terms of like the character journey and stuff. But I mean, again, interested to see where James Wan goes with the sequel. He's very much a fan of the aesthetic, isn't he, of Aquaman as well?
I give you that. I forgot it was James Wan as well. Yeah, that's also a big plus to it. But yeah, we'll see.
The other movies that got announced, we also got a look at Shazam 2, a sneak peek.
Yes. Yeah. I not much to say about that one, other than I loved the first Shazam. I thought it was great. I thought it was really good, and successfully done something different. Be very interested to see if Shazam 2 does tie into Black Adam properly, and if he's going to be the featured villain. I would love it if he. I want to see Black Adam. Everyone wants to see Black Adam versus Captain Marvel. Oh, sorry, Shazam. I'm too old to remember when Shazam was called Captain Marvel. But yeah, like everyone wants to see that. That'd be fantastic.
I know. I'm really surprised with the villains for Shazam 2, because they've got Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as gods.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, like Lucy Liu.
I forgot about her. Oh, Lucy Liu.
I got to be really honest. I can't remember the last thing I saw. The last film I saw that had Lucy Liu in it.
Oh, the last film? Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know she did some voice acting work in Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, so she's been on a regular TV show for the last 10 years. She did ironically enough, we talked about it earlier on. She did the American version of Sherlock Holmes, Elementary.
Yes.
She was Joan Watson in that, which is actually really good, guys. You should watch Elementary. If you like procedural whodunits from America, you should watch Elementary, because it is actually very good. And I am a big fan of Johnny Lee Miller, and I will shout his praises from the rooftop, because he's amazing. He's a really good guy. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, give Elementary a try. But yeah, she's been doing that for 10 years. So yeah, maybe this is her return to film.
Ooh. I'm here for it.
Or Bill Murray just ran her out of Hollywood. That's what the issue was after they fell out on Charlie's Angels. Bill Murray got his pitchfork and just sent her out of Hollywood, kicking her down the boulevard.
Oh no. And of course, let's talk about the big movie announcement that was the Batman.
Well, do you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about the other one? The other one that's got Batman in it.
Flash. Yeah, how have I already forgotten?
Yeah.
Oh.
Much like Ezra Miller's performance, you've already forgotten the Flash.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do Flash and then end on the high with the Batman. I mean, this trailer. Oh, I don't know how to feel about it, Zane. I really don't, because you know how much I hate him. I really don't like him, and the trailer didn't help anything. Here's the deal for me, right? If I'm super into something, if I'm super excited about it, watching a trailer for it will give me goosebumps, some form of goosebumps. All right, like I actually got goosebumps when I watched the second. That's how I knew I was going to be into it. The second Eternals trailer, not the first one with the why does my heart go on singing or whatever. Like, but the second one was amazing, and I got proper goosebumps for it. Like this trailer it didn't. And I got into comics through Keaton's Batman. Like I'm a huge, like it is our generation. Like a lot of us were introduced to adult comics through the 89 Batman. Yeah. And it just there was just something, it just felt really soulless when I watched this trailer, because it just felt like it was the trailer equivalent of having a Flash movie and somebody's got an 89 Batman poster in the background. That's how it felt to me. I was like,
I see where you're going.
There's a nod. Cool. Like, what? You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't really feel anything about this. It doesn't give you any idea of who the bad guy really is, even though apparently it's like a clone Flash, isn't it? Or like it's himself or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think that was what it was supposed to be. It's a weird shot in it as well, where there's like three of them, if you noticed that, or there's like the two of Ezra Miller and then another person. And I don't know whether
that's Supergirl.
Oh, is it Supergirl? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've always been a person who's always wanted Keaton to be reintroduced as the Batman of the future. And he's got Terry McGinnis, as his protege. That's what I've always wanted, and I feel like they're trying to do that in a stupid way with the Flash. The one thing that I really felt about this trailer, so it's interesting. Do a bit of a comparison right now. We'll talk fully about it in a sec, but just do a comparison between the Batman trailer and the Flash trailer. The Batman trailer, I immediately knew who the antagonist was. I immediately knew what the stakes were, and I immediately knew that it was going to cause trouble for Batman and for Gotham as a whole. Yeah. With the Flash trailer, I've no idea who the antagonist is. I've no clue what the stakes are, and I just know that they've done some cool nods to the 89 Batman. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I as much as I love nostalgia in the sense of like going back to the past and going back to seeing what I enjoyed as a kid and what I enjoyed as a teenager growing up. If I want to watch a good 89 Batman, I'll go and watch the 89 Batman, or I'll go and watch Batman Returns. I don't need to see Ezra Miller going, "Oh, it's the Batmobile." Like, I don't need to see it. Also, why do you care about a car? You can run fast. Idiot.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We have a tradition where we will watch the Batman and Returns at Christmas.
That is Zane and his wife, by the way. That is not me and Zane. It's not our tradition. He doesn't share traditions with me. Well, you don't share traditions with me. I've been trying to get him to go to the cinema with me for ages, and he's all like, "No, I live in a different township than you. I'm not going to do it, even though I've got a car." Actual quote.
Actual great imitation. So where was I going with the 89 Batman? With the trailer, like you said, it feels a little soulless. Like, unless you've got some keen eyes and you can see like, oh, it looks like they are doing Flashpoint because he's reaching out for his mum, and maybe he's going to Batman to get his powers, which is why he gets a whole new suit and costume and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like he's definitely got some kind of Wayne Tech empowered suit in the actual thing, which is maybe channeling the Speed Force. The thing about it is that yeah, you say that he's seeing his mum, so maybe that's Flashpoint. Like the Flashes travel in time so much that it could be any number of stories. We could be looking at the beginnings of Infinite Crisis or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like you say it's Flashpoint. I'm very I get very frustrated at the moment with DC where it's like everything has to be Flashpoint. And it's like, no, like I get it. It was a successful crossover and it was a cool event and it was good, but you're missing very key ingredients for it to be Flashpoint. You know, for a start, the Batman in Flashpoint was not Bruce Wayne. It's Thomas Wayne. You know, like Reverse Flash has a big part to play in that as well. He's not even been introduced yet. No. You know, if you do Flashpoint, you have to mix around with Aquaman and Wonder Woman because they're both not great people in Flashpoint. You know, I mean, Flashpoint effectively in the books leads to the end of the world. Spoiler alert, guys. But like, you know, Wonder Woman and Aquaman destroy the entire world fighting each other in a war. So like, it's you know, you can't do Flashpoint, or you could do like variations of it and stuff, but stop doing it. Just do something original. And I appreciate that they may have. I'm fully respectful of the fact that this is the first trailer, so we haven't seen a lot of it yet. So it might turn out to be very different, but I don't know. It did not set my world on fire, man. Everyone, like a lot of people, my friends, were like, "Have you seen the Flash trailer? Oh my god, have you seen the Flash trailer? Keaton! Oh my god, it's Keaton!" First of all, we never see Keaton. You see the back of his head. And I'm like, all right, great, yeah, cool. Yeah. I watched an interview with him the other day, and I saw his face. That was pretty impressive. But like, I just didn't do anything for me. It was like a McDonald's meal equivalent of a trailer. Like it's all corporate. It's all like, hey, we're having fun. Look how cool we are. Yeah. But none of the feelings, like nothing. It's just completely shallow. That's exactly what the Flash trailer felt like to me. Sorry, guys. If Drac was here right now, he'd just be like, oh, I hate you. I hate you. I can't believe you say that. I can't believe you say that. But like, it's true. It's the McDonald's Happy Meal equivalent of a trailer.
There we go.
Quote me.
But what did you think? We want to know. Pop it in the comments down below.
Yes. Batman. The
Batman.
Woo. Oh man. Oh, I cannot begin to describe how much I'm looking forward to this film.
I know, same.
So I will say I didn't enjoy this trailer as much as the other trailer.
Really?
Yeah, but it's marginal. It's very marginal. It's just a choice thing. I found it quite funny that in the beginning of it, there's a load of voiceovers and a load of talking over like a bunch of action that's happening, and it kind of felt to me like a fan-made trailer. Like it was like one of those fan trailers that you see where it's like they superimpose in lines from other films and stuff like that, and it kind of felt like that at the beginning. I was like,
with the dodgy costume.
Yeah, well, you know, the dodgy costume. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But what did you think of this trailer, Zane? I've talked enough right now. I want to know what you thought of it.
I really liked the look of it. I thought it was amazing. Also, I have to say this because I tweeted about it. It's very much a screamy Batman. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, like in this trailer, it's like 3 points where he's just either screaming or shouting.
To the point where it's almost indecipherable.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is amazing because that's what I want. I want a screamy, shouty, pure rage Batman who's just nothing but fire and rage.
Yeah. So I guess it's year 2, isn't it, in this film? Mm-hmm. Like he's established as a hero, and the police recognize him as one. And it's his second year. I did have to the trailer a couple of times. I did have to pause and rewind to understand exactly what he says when he says, "What have you done?" And he punches the interrogation wall. He goes, "What have you done?" I was like, "All right, Bale, calm down."
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on because this is the first? I mean, we've seen clips of him in the suit in the previous trailer. This was the first time that you've kind of seen him in motion doing things really like heavily like dialogue-y wise in the suit. What was your thoughts on seeing him like kind of talking and like because we've seen him punch the hell out of people and do actiony stuff in it, which look really good. But like, this is the first time that you've seen his proper, like, his mouth moving in the. I know it sounds like a weird thing to ask, but like, it is dialogue, and the cowl can like sound and look weird. And I thought it looked particularly okay in this. I didn't think it looked bad. But what were your thoughts on it?
Same, yeah. I thought it was plausible. I think, if anything, I'd say it was more awkward seeing him with sunglasses reading the newspaper. Like,
didn't he look like Riddler? I was like, wait, why is Batman gone full Riddler?
Part of his investigation, like,
he looks kind of like he kind of looked like Jim Carrey in the Batman Forever movie. I was like, it's a weird crossover.
Yeah, tiny glasses,
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, a couple of things of note out of this. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman looks amazing. She looks fantastic in this, and I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be. I'm not sure which iteration of Catwoman she's supposed to be playing. Like, obviously she's Selena Kyle, but like, I don't know whether there's a particular version that she's taken inspiration from in the books, or if there's anyone in particular that she's like trying to emulate. Whether she's going for like a Pfeiffer Catwoman from the Batman movies, or whether she's, taking pieces of Anne Hathaway when she was Catwoman, who I actually think is very underrated as Catwoman. I thought she was great in Dark Knight Rises. I did. I thought she was great. But yeah, are we going to see the amazing Batman Catwoman wedding in this? It's what we were all waiting for.
Well, interestingly, in the interviews with Robert Pattinson, in one of the Japanese sort of interviews, he said that he was reading a lot of Tom King's Batman.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that is the Batman comic or if it was the Batman and Catwoman series.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, possibly to get the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Catwoman looks like she's going to be great in it. We got much more of Colin Farrell as Penguin.
I was going to talk about Penguin.
So good.
What did you think of his accent? Because this is like it sounds like an Italian approach, which means it's like the first Italian penguin we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's supposed to be like a mafioso penguin, isn't it? It's like, slow down, sweetheart.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I just got like a New Yorker kind of like thick mafia accent from it. It's amazing. What I love about it is the prosthetics in that are so good that if nobody told me it was Colin Farrell, I would not believe that was Colin Farrell. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing, and it seems like he's very well established in Gotham already as some form of underboss or crime boss. So I wonder if we're going to see the Iceberg Lounge in this. I wonder if he's running it at this point, or whether he's kind of an arms dealer, for lack of a better word. I think that whole thing with him, I think that is going to be the intro of the film. I think that's going to be the beginning of the film. I think that's going to be like the almost like the big action sequence that is introducing Batman to this audience, and what he's about. I don't think Penguin's like a major villain. I think he's going to be like I think it's a similar thing to like Scarecrow in The Dark Knight. Where it opens and like we immediately establish what Batman is doing. He's fighting crime, and he takes down Scarecrow in like the first like 15 minutes of him being there. I think that's what's going to happen with this. Like that, I'm sure that whole sequence is going to be in like the first 15 minutes of the film. And then the Riddler, which we'll come on to now, is like he's the big bad, mixed with probably the Court of Owls. If I'm guessing correct, it's weird. It's the interesting thing. It is, from what I've read, I guess they are trying to make this more of a whodunit.
Yeah.
So it is a murder mystery, effectively. Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, you kind of know the Riddler's done it. But what's the grander plot? There's a lot of writing. We see a lot of writing on the floor, don't we, in the trailer regarding sins of my father and stuff like that. So. Thomas Wayne was involved with the Court of Owls quite heavily in the books, if you've read the Scott Snyder books. And I can only assume. I think in the first trailer, some eagle-eyed people saw a Court of Owls mask in the background on one of the shelves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in the first trailer, you know, that there's the guy that Riddler kills right at the beginning, and he's got the gaffer-taped mask up.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a scene later on, first of all, when Batman walks in, Riddler's left him a card. And before he opens the card, people have freeze framed it, and it's an owl on the front of the card saying "Guess who?" And then later on, Selina's trying to break into like a this office building or whatever it is that she's breaking into. In the office, it looks like there's the white Court of Owls masks. There's one of those on the bookshelf. So putting that with this trailer, there's a lot of speculation. I think it probably will be the Court of Owls. I think the idea is that Riddler has been wronged by them and is trying to uncover through nefarious means. He's trying to make Batman see the light.
I see.
You know,
expanding on your theory, there is that I know the person that Riddler is supposed to have, like you said, gaffer tape up, is supposed to be some sort of high society gentleman as well, because there's like pictures of him in newspapers and stuff. So it could be like some sort of politician and such. So I think it could lean more into that theory. And also that you could say, like, if Riddler is kind of trying to map it out or, you know, sort of play a game, maybe Penguin could be interpreted as a red herring, like, because he's also, Penguin is a bird base, like.
Yeah, possibly. I really do think that I really do believe that they are just establishing Penguin as like pre-existing crime that's going on in Gotham that Batman is now dealing with, kind of thing. And then it'll be a new. It's the perfect way of introducing a new Batman and the methods that he does to take him down.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. For those of you who don't know what the Court of Owls is or what we're talking about, by the way, there was a run of Batman in 2010, starting in 2010, was it? Maybe a bit later than 2010. Actually, it might have been a bit later.
Well.
It is in New 52, yeah. Written by Scott Snyder, where the Court of Owls are introduced. It's like a new Batman, so he was like fresh on the scene, fresh on the scene. And the Court of Owls, it was revealed that there's been effectively a secret society that has been shaping and shifting Gotham for the last century or more, probably more than that, actually, probably 1,000 years or whatever, however long it is. And they're known as the Court of Owls. They are a sinister group that is mingled with high society. Nobody knows who the members are. It's kind of like a clandestine organization. They inflict their will through effectively undead zombies called Talons, which are basically like reanimated corpses that are strong, impervious, and ridiculously powerful. Yeah, one of them turns out to be Dick Grayson's dad as well, or no, great grandfather. Sorry, I should say.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they're a cool organization, and we've never seen them on film before. So it would be very interesting to see what they do with it and how it works. And it will definitely play more into the detective side of Batman than other films that we've seen. And I'm excited. I'm super excited for this film. Like it just Batman works on his own. That's the thing. I feel like certain characters like Flash and Aquaman, the reason why I'm not necessarily so excited for them is that I would want them to lead into a Justice League film. Yeah. But I know we're not going to get one of those, so it's kind of just like a Yeah,
but I know what you mean.
This one, the Batman, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, guys.
Have you heard the story of how Robert Pattinson had to wear Val Kilmer's costume?
Yes, I have heard that. Poor Robert Pattinson.
Testing.
Yeah, poor Robert Pattinson. And he got COVID like 2 times during the film. Poor little bugger. But yeah, what are your thoughts about? I'm assuming you're excited as excited as I am, and excited that we've got an actual date. It's less than half a year away.
I know, March 4th, I believe.
23rd, I thought it was, isn't it?
March 4th, 2022.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I
I
said, go on.
Oh yeah, go
Please
ahead.
go on. No, please go on. Please go on. I asked you, go on.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this. Like you say, it's a whole fresh take. It's not going to be a sort of origin story, so it's not like we get to see. Well, we may see the Waynes get killed in an alleyway, I guess. Like
Maybe.
But yeah, no ninja training school, just straight into.
That's where he formerly went, wasn't it? That's what happens in the comics. Batman formerly went to the ninja training school, guys. That's what. Not a lot of people know that.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I'm super hyped for it. I was saying, like next year, the slate for comic book stuff next year is rammed because like February is Doctor Strange, isn't it? February is Doctor Strange, and
some of them got delayed.
Yeah, was Doctor Strange one of the ones that got delayed though? I don't think it was.
Let me have a look. Hold that line, caller.
I need to do some hold music now. I can't do it for too long, otherwise we'll get copyright banned, guys. We are on YouTube, so just remember that. But what is your guys' favorite Batman story that you would like to see translated into film? Mine personally would be No Man's Land, which we haven't really properly seen yet. We've only seen the weird Bane version in The Dark Knight Rises, which was extremely disturbing, and I don't ever want to see it again. Although that is not a bad film, and I love Tom Hardy's performance in it. Zane, hurry up and find this thing. I'm killing for time.
Here we go. So Disney has delayed several of its upcoming Marvel movies, as well as non-MCU releases, such as the latest Indiana Jones film, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, it has been delayed. Okay.
Thor: Love and Thunder and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever all have shifted to later dates in 2022.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, I didn't realize that Doctor Strange had moved as well. I thought that was one of the ones that survived it. I knew that Wakanda Forever and Thor had gone, but I didn't realize Doctor Strange had gone as well. Oh, well, there we go. It's still going to be a packed year.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what else happened at Fandom. The video game-wise, oh, man, those games look good. Oh, boy. So I'm specifically talking about Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad. Gotham Knights is looking intriguing. Again, it's the Court of Owls. So yes. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a whole big tie-in that they were doing with the film. And the thing I'm most excited for is the Suicide Squad thing, to be honest with you. That looked fantastic. I'm like, yes, this is what I want for like Rocksteady doing.
Hilariously good.
Oh, it looks so good. I'm hoping for some extra like hidden characters that you can play as well, like that they haven't revealed. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to see like a Bane or something. Being on Task Force X. That'd be so good. They've already done Bane in like the Arkham series. Just throw him in.
You've got the skin. Just chuck it in
exactly. There. And then what else came out of Fandom? Just a quick footnote. So we had Peacemaker as well. We had our first look at Peacemaker, the series.
Yes, and a mini trailer. The Milestone universe. I've got to talk about Milestone because I've been reading the Static Shock, and I've been loving that comic book series. Yep. So Milestone. They mentioned like there'll be some more comic books. They also mentioned as well that they'll be doing 2 movies, one animated, one live action. The live action one is being produced by Michael B. Jordan.
Nice.
So that'd be really cool. And it's being written by himself. Yeah, and it's being written. The animated movie is being written by the same author as the Hardwire comic book series.
Okay, cool. I look forward to reading those in a year and a half time when they finally come out in paperback version, and I'm behind the times. Yeah. Because I'm such an old man now. So there we go, guys. There we go. I'm just going to ask you just one more thing before we get on to Venom. Zane, how do you feel about this year's DC fandom overall?
Overall, I'd say it's undisputed.
I wasn't going for like a review the side of thing. I just feel like as far as this year's, I think last year's one, there was nothing to expect. and so I was kind of like surprised by how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this year's one, whilst it was good, I felt like it was kind of like a, yeah, okay, cool, but you know what I mean? Like there was, it feels like there was something missing. The Batman again was like the star of the show for me on this, like as far as like announcements and looks and what we got. I thought the computer game reveals this year were really good. Like they were really good. But I don't know, everything else just kind of seemed a bit like meh to me. Lukewarm, I believe, is how I would describe my reaction to Fandom.
The TV stuff, I was a little lacklustered on. The animated stuff, of course, because I like animated things. So they announced like Catwoman, Hunted, the animated movie that's coming out in February. Looks like it was done by a Japanese studio.
Yeah, they're doing Constantine as well, aren't they? And
Constantine, Green Lantern, and they also said that they'll do a Super Sons, but it'll be completely CG, which is interesting.
It is interesting, but again, Green Lantern, it's because I'm a personal fan of it. I would much rather see a Green Lantern movie than a second Aquaman. Because again, it just rings true of like, what is there to now see in Aquaman that we haven't seen already?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is there in Green Lantern that we haven't seen? Absolutely loads. And Green Lantern is the perfect way to wash the taste away from the Ryan Reynolds movie, but B, also to introduce the DC universe, as in like the whole cosmic universe, because man, there's so many good things going on that are not on Earth in DC. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, where's Lobo? I want to see a Lobo, thing. Like what's, there's like all the stuff on Oa, like all of that stuff. There's a lot of different sectors in, there's War World with, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. Mongol, thank you, Mongol. There's all of this. And it's like, no, we're just going to focus on just Earth. And then we're running so low on ideas that we're going to bring in the 1989 Batman into the Flash movie.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, our super chats have been pinging with comments. So, for example, Cine
Gamers
says he can't wait for the Batman movie. He loves the director. He's amazing.
Yeah. I think he was. So Cine Gamers is he's a friend of my Twitch stream. He's also a friend of our YouTube. Very very good guy. And you should go check him out, guys. I agree with it. I think he was talking about our review of the Batman thing where it felt like a fan trailer. I mean, I don't know. DC are just not exciting me right now. They're really, with the exception of the Batman and the computer games, I just don't care. I just don't care enough about them, anymore. It's like, it's really bad. And that makes me so sad because the majority of books that are on my shelf behind me are DC comic books. Like they are DC books, because the comics are amazing and they do some really crazy whacked out things. You're right there, Zane.
I was just having a look, see if you can see my collection behind me. But it's
you were showing off. I got you. Yeah, okay, cool.
It's very tiny over there. Can you see it?
Problem is, my like if you're watching on YouTube, guys, my hamster cage gets in the way of my of my books. So, but anyway, lukewarm reaction to DC fandom. I felt it was not what I wanted. I just feel like there's no direction, and that's what's upsetting me right now. I think we need to just go back to the drawing board with it. Really, they need to start again. I'm afraid they really do. Focus on their main characters, or do something different and use their B level characters and elevate them a bit. Bring some new characters in. Maybe do the Justice Society properly.
It's not asking for much, is it?
No, exactly. So yeah, interesting to see if they do it next year as well.
Yeah, be interesting. They did 2 last year as well. Can you believe that?
What, Fandom?
Yeah, they did like one big one over 2 days, and then they did like a smaller one, which was about the comic book releases and stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not talking about the comic world here. Like some of the DC stories in the comics are great, but like from what's the word? Visual, not visual, because comics are visual. God, this is horrible. From an electronic medium of film and TV, they are not. Well, that comics are entertainment as well, aren't they? That's why it's the hardest thing to say.
Entertainment.
Electronic entertainment, yes. They're not setting my world on fire like Marvel are. So there we go. Speaking of Marvel, Zane, should we talk about what we both saw this week?
Yes, let's. So we witnessed Let It Be Carnaged. Let there be carnage.
Let it be carnage. It might as well have been called that.
Carnage.
Yes, yeah. Oh, by the way, just a quick footnote as well. For anyone, if you had opinions that differ to ours or are in agreement with ours regarding DC fandom, or if you just want to tell us anything we missed, or want to tell us your thoughts on what your favorite part of fandom was this year, then please get in touch with us on all our usual social medias and our email nerds.undisputed@gmail.com. So yeah, Venom. I mean, you should probably go first because I have not been looking forward to this movie for a long time.
Okay, so as a movie, I think it's watchable. Let's say that. I think it's watchable. It has a lot of comedy, for good or bad. It has Carnage, a version of Carnage. It doesn't have an awful lot of, dare I say, carnage. Like everything's very within.
Oh, it's called Carnage, but it doesn't have carnage.
I mean, it's very much in the boundaries of a 15 certificate, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's not hyper violent.
No, it's a lot of cutaways when it is becoming violent, shall we say?
It's not a The Suicide Squad 15.
No. Yeah, there's some weird choices which I just kind of went with because it's I've paid for all this ride. I may as well see it through to the end.
Yeah,
I think it will do very well as like an in-flight movie.
I think it's already doing very well. It's already doing extremely well at the box office. Okay, so do you want to go into the details of the film, of what happens? We're just gonna do full spoilers, I think, guys, because there's no point in trying to beat around the bush because it's such a short film. This film only clocks in an hour and a half. So Zane, undisputed or disputed?
I'm gonna say undisputed, but it's
on the very, very, very cusp of it. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you listening? Have you got your ears wide open?
Tell us a story.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh wow!
There you go. See, there were parts of this film that genuinely made me laugh out loud in the cinema. There is a bit where he, like, the thing that they've done, okay, so let's I will also say it's a very, very, very edge case undisputed. Like, it's so close to disputed, it's not even true. However, there are quite a few things going for it that make it okay in my books. The first thing is the runtime, an hour and a half, perfect, like great, breezy. It flew by. I never got bored. That was really good. Like, that was genuinely really good. I was never sitting there going, why are they doing that? Like, we don't need this exposition scene. Just shut up and move on. There was never any of that. So thumbs up to that. That was great. The the relationship between Brock and Venom was really good. Like, it was really good in this film. Like, it genuinely was really good. I don't like the way that they lean into making the symbiote sometimes this kind of like simp, like, who just loves Eddie and like, I know they're trying to kind of ground it in something that can be relatable, which makes sense. Sure. But Tom Hardy's performance in this again, and mixing it with his vocal performance as Venom, because it's him doing all the lines and feeding it back in, was great. There's a bit where he's like because obviously they make a big deal about Venom controlling him in this, and Venom can make his body do things that he doesn't want to do. And there's a bit where he's visiting Cletus at the prison, and in his head, Venom's calling him a loser and says, "You suck." And then Tom Hardy just like yells out, "You suck!" right in the face of the prison guard. And it made me laugh so hard in the cinema. It was amazing. So, all of that was good. They got back his fiance from the first one, which was fine. And we had a little bit of She-Venom again. So that was all okay. The comedy in it, there were a lot of jokes, and from that dynamic, which I think was the right thing to do, having it in that dynamic. That's okay when it's the two of them together doing that kind of comedy. That's okay. The action sequences in this, so well, first of all, the origin of Carnage was interesting. They never really expressly said that the symbiote had spawned, even though Carnage did call him Dad, which I thought was kind of weird. It was like, okay, so was that a symbiote spawn, or was that part of him? I don't quite get. I don't understand what they were going for with that. It was weird. Carnage itself, the animation was very good. Like the animation on Carnage was very good. I'm still sticking to my guns that it was basically just a red version of Riot. Still sticking to my guns on that.
I can see that, yeah.
But it was okay. I thought that I can't remember what her name is. Is it Shriek?
I think it's Scream.
No, it's not Scream. Scream's the symbiote. I think her name was Shriek. If it is Shriek, anyway, I'm pretty sure it was Shriek. She was really good. Naomi Harris is amazing in everything that she's in. And so she was excellent in this. Interesting kind of origin story, mixing her. So I guess they took a lot of inspiration, I know, from Maximum Carnage, which is basically where is it Shriek?
I'm still looking. Go on.
Oh, sorry. They took a lot of inspiration from Maximum Carnage, where basically it's Carnage, Shriek, and the Demo Goblin, I think, which is a weird, perverse clone of Spider-Man. They run rampant through New York as like this weird, morbid, twisted family. And then Venom and Spider-Man have to team up to actually take them down. It's one of the first instances of Venom and Spider-Man teaming up in the books. And so they kind of loosely based it around that. I thought it was very interesting. And I actually kind of liked the idea that Cassidy had this romantic interest in her.
Did you like that? Did you?
Yeah, I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I thought it gave some good plot reasoning to why he did what he did, instead of it just being Carnage. Because the idea of Cassidy in the books is he is just a remorseless, relentless serial killer, even without the symbiote. Like, it doesn't matter if he's got Carnage or not. He's going to kill people because he wants to kill people. And Carnage just gives him even more of an ability to do so. Whereas in this, they kind of humanized him a little bit with it, and gave him some motivation to do what he's doing. The thing that I will say is that this was not Carnage that I am expecting from the comic books by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it was not Cletus Cassidy from the comics really either. They've adapted things and changed things around, which is it's okay. It wasn't terrible. And bearing in mind how much I was not looking forward to this film, that's a good thing. I will say right now that what I thought would be the best thing about these films was the best thing, which was Woody Harrelson and Tom Hardy were great in this. They were both really good. Tom Hardy is just great as he is, but like Woody Harrelson just being Woody Harrelson but turned up to 12 was fantastic. So no, on the whole, I had a fun time watching this film, and I thought it was well presented. And say what you want about it, the visual effects were fantastic. Where I have a big problem with this film is character choices and things that happened at the end of the film.
Mhm.
That really bothered me. So what were your highlights of this film before we get into that?
My highlights were the manifestation of Carnage. So when Cassidy's in the chair and they, give him the injection, and then it just reacts and it busts out. Like, I thought that was really cool. Yeah, like you said, the comedy of Eddie and Venom. I felt like there was so much Venom dialogue in this. Like,
There was,
he probably
yeah.
talks more than Eddie does. Which,
Maybe.
it is a Venom movie. I guess it's probably to be expected. But yeah, I thought, wow, this is poor Tom Hardy. He must be in that booth like day after day, just doing like, no, you shut up. Like,
Well, they did all his dialogue work before they filmed the movie.
No way.
So they did. So according to I was watching an interview with Andy Serkis, and they recorded him doing the lines for Venom with Andy Serkis. So obviously Andy being the counterpart and him being Venom, and they had it all on tape so that when they were on set, and Tom Hardy was doing his lines, they played in his Venom lines against him, so that he was playing against himself, which I thought was pretty cool. So
that is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a genuine double act performance from him, which I thought was fantastic. But yes, I agree with you. I think that it was definitely like an odd couple movie with some comic stuff slapped on top of it.
And I know, like we've previously mentioned in the podcast, like we expected it to be like a buddy cop movie as well, where they have to work together to solve the case, yet they may fall out halfway through the movie, and so forth. So yeah, it was like almost textbook, but it was watchable again. One thing I did want to kind of cross with you, Patrick Mulligan, the copper.
Yes.
Interesting. I should say.
Interesting that you used the word copper. All right, the copper in it. All right. Yeah. Go on. Tell me all about what's the matter with it.
Tell me everything, Eddie. Go on.
Yes. What about him?
Do you think it was a great choice to have Patrick in this?
No. The only reason he was in it was that's the only reason he was in it was literally to have a setup at the end, wasn't it? Although I don't know what's happening. So spoilers again, guys. There's a little weird thing with him at the end, isn't there? Because his eyes go all funny.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Shrieks. Like, you were correct. It was Shriek, but
yes.
This is going to sound crazy, but from what I know of Patrick Mulligan, he has a symbiote called Toxin. Who's
oh my god, it's Toxin. Oh, you're right. That's the wait. Sorry. Oh my god, that just came into my mind. Like, you just snapped my mind into that. Oh my god, that's Toxin? What the hell? In the books, Patrick. Oh my god! I knew I recognised that name. Yeah, Patrick Mulligan in the books is like this. He's an Irish Italian cop. Like, he's a beat cop. He's not a detective. He's just like, he gets the Carnage's runoff, which is Toxin, who is insanely powerful, by the way. Like, he is easily probably one of the most, if not the most powerful symbiote. Well, apart from Knall or whatever his name is, the god of the symbiotes. But like, oh man, I never put two and two together. That's what that is at the end of the movie, probably.
I'm guessing so.
Interesting. Okay, that's opened up a whole new world to me. Thank you, Zane. Thank you for putting that together. Yeah, okay, cool. As far as the actor concerned, I mean, he's all right. He's a British actor. I can't remember what else he's been in. He's been in loads of stuff. He's a fine actor, but I don't think he was necessarily given the best material in this film. Let's put it that way. Yeah, interesting. Wow, that's fascinating. They did a good expansion of Shriek and like a kind of, I guess, what, like, her motivations for things, and maybe why she joins Carnage, because it's a bit of a random reason why she joins him in Maximum Carnage. So But should we get onto some of the things that we didn't like about this film?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So what didn't I like about this film? Carnage. I really didn't like Carnage. And I'll tell you why I didn't like Carnage, right? For a few reasons. So first of all, okay, so I guess it's technically one reason, but it is probably the biggest issue I have with this whole thing. Okay. All right, so the reason why Venom and Eddie refer to themselves as we and are at odds with each other a lot is because they're not a perfect pairing. Because Venom's perfect pairing is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that is why. And so all of this like conversation between Eddie and the symbiote, all this conversation in his head and everything like that is because they are literally like two minds occupying one body. That's the whole reason why, and that's fine. Carnage and Cletus Cassidy have no such issue. They are the perfect bond to the point where in the books, the Carnage symbiote bonds so perfectly with Cletus Cassidy that they refer to themselves as I instead of we. Yeah. They are not in any way, shape, or forms a problem with each other, and Cletus is the bond for that Carnage symbiote. It's interesting that even when in the future, when the Carnage symbiote goes to people like Green Goblin or even Silver Surfer at one point with insane power, that eventually it runs out because the bond is not strong. And so the Carnage symbiote breaks up. Never happens with Cletus because he is the perfect bond. Like, in this film, the Carnage symbiote talks to Cletus. I hated that. I absolutely hated it. I was like, why? This is not, and again, it's
so many deals with each other as well throughout the movie.
I know. It's like, no, they're not two minds. They are as one. They are the same. They are like literally, they refer to themselves as I, as me, because that is what they are. Mm-hmm. And like, it just drove me nuts that was happening. And I was like, why are you trying to make it be like Venom? Stop making it be like Venom. He's not like Venom. He is an offspring of Venom. The offspring situation kind of annoyed me because it just kind of like happened when he bit him. And I was like, all right. So yeah, basically Cletus bites Eddie, and then that's how he gets the symbiote, because it's in his blood apparently, which again is not true to how it works, but that's fine. Okay, never mind. So that annoyed me. The bit like so here's where I get into my know-it-all parts. Okay. I said again 2 weeks ago when we were looking at the trailers and talking about the trailers and stuff and talking about Venom, I said I firmly believe that bit where he's in front of the stained glass window and they meet each other in that church, that's the end of the film. Bang on the money, guys. It is the end of the film. That is the final climactic confrontational fight. In that fight, for some reason, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that sound only affected like the symbiote if it comes in waves that are directed at it. So, like, for instance, a church bell, if it's right next to a church bell, then yeah, it messes it up. Sure. Or, for example, if Shriek is facing a certain way and yelling, not right, like, behind him, and suddenly how the Carnage symbiote is still going all like, ah! Like, what is that all about? I hated it. Carnage in this was just not, it wasn't my Carnage. It wasn't the way it was structured. And it did, again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier on. It was Riot again. It was just Riot, the same as the previous film, but in a different color palette. And that was annoying, really. Even Cletus, it was like, Cletus wouldn't, I mean, ultimately, yeah, Shrike, he has a nice relationship with Shrike and stuff like that. But once he has the symbiote, he doesn't care about anything else. Yeah. And that should have played into it. That really should have played into it. It should have been like at the end of the film when Carnage killed Shriek. It should have just been like, who needs her anyway? That should have been the reaction instead of like this whole like, oh no, I can't live. The last bit that really irritated me. This was the bit that I was like, don't like that. That's a cheap way out. How Carnage is beaten. So Carnage gets separated from the symbiote, as per Sonic's, as you would expect. Fine. And then Venom eats the symbiote. Well, that's new. I didn't know they could do that because they've never done that before in any other medium.
No, you're very, very right there. I think they were trying to lean into, towards the end of the movie, Venom kept talking about how he was a predator. So I was like, are they trying to go into this sort of like weird animalistic sort of mindset?
Lethal protector. They used it multiple times throughout the thing. A lethal protector. It rang to me of like really cheap cop out of, we don't know how to deal with Carnage because we can't do what we did with Riot, and we can't really keep him around because, like, you know, we're going to kill Cletus Cassidy, and then they kill Cletus Cassidy. By the way, guy, Venom bites his head off, which is just ridiculous. Well, it was just so cheaply done. Where I was like, oh, that is really rubbish. Like. So does that mean that Carnage wasn't his offspring and he's reassimilating part of the Venom symbiote into him? Or does that mean that, like, Venom can now eat symbiotes like he can anything? Because I think he might have that power now as the God symbiote in the books. Like, I think he has that power, like, as... Because obviously Venom... Sorry, spoilers for the comic books, guys. But, like, after the King in Black... Venom becomes the God symbiote, and so I think he probably can control and consume symbiotes if he wants to, but like certainly not in this. He's not.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like I kind of feel the same way. Like it felt like they were trying to write themselves out of a corner. Like, well, why don't we just let him eat him? Like,
yes, exactly. So yeah. Anyway, I mean. Look, again, better than I thought it was going to be. Not the complete train wreck that I thought it was going to be. Better than the first one, I will say that. I enjoyed this one a lot more than the first one, and I think it's because of the runtime. It didn't drag. It just was like boom, 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 done. Right, we're out. Cool. I suppose ironically enough, the biggest thing about this is what happens after the credits.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that because when just at the ending, I actually really liked it because one of the first Spider-Man comics I got is where Venom, they faked Spider-Man's death, and then Venom and Eddie live on an island.
Like, oh, right, okay.
But then Carnage happened, so then Johnny Storm and Spider-Man had to go get Venom, and he's on this beach, and he's like, "Oh, it's so nice now. You know, we can enjoy life and stuff." And it just reminded me of that panel where
that's probably where they took it from. To be fair, I would guess that's probably exactly where they took it from.
So I was like, "Oh, that's a real cool callback."
Yeah, Brock's a fugitive at the end of this, by the way, guys. I should point out he's on the run with the Venom symbiote because he's blamed for all of this. Carnage, funnily enough, and you know. Rather than actually have someone that they can blame, they decide to eat them. So yeah, that makes total sense. Anyway, let's move on. But yeah, so that they're on this, like, it's not really a beach, is it? They're a luxury resort, aren't they? Or sorry, they're not a luxury resort. No, my apologies. They're not. They're at this like horrible dive, aren't they? After the credits in like Mexico, or I don't know where they are, but like it's not a nice place. And then so here's where I get into. What I warned you about before the show, Zane, which is mass boast mode, where I said to you, I've got a theory. So for those of you who have not been listening to the podcast for a long time, I have a theory about Spider-Man No Way Home that nobody has talked about yet, and nobody seems to be like putting two and two together. So if it is true, then I want first credit on it. But I have a theory that the reason why they didn't show anything of the trailers and why they didn't show anything of what was happening for a very long time was because they were waiting for Venom to be out. And then obviously the pandemic hit and delayed a bunch of stuff and caused some problems. So they had to put Venom off. And then it got to the point where they eventually just couldn't wait anymore and they had to release a Spider-Man trailer. But if you've seen the Spider-Man trailer, there is a scene in it, and there has been promotional things released from it, where Spider-Man is wearing a black suit. Now, everyone is kind of just assuming that black suit is a rune suit that Doctor Strange has given him as he traverses the multiverse of madness to deal with all these Sinister Six villains. I believe that is the Venom symbiote suit. And I think I'm thinking more and more now, the reason why it has runes on it, or whatever might be the case, might be as a way to control the hunger of the symbiote so that it doesn't eat people's heads.
Interesting.
Because at the end of this film, Venom, as I said a few weeks ago, a portal is opened and he is sucked through into the MCU. And we get the J. Jonah Jameson television announcement saying that Peter Parker is Spider-Man at that exact moment. So Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, is now officially in the MCU. Interestingly, that he said this guy, like as if he knew who Peter Parker was. And also interestingly, right before that happened, Venom was talking about all the like places that he'd been and things that he'd seen, and then he gets taken to the MCU. So the only questions I have, and I don't know whether you want to chime in on this, Zane, was it a portal that took him there, or are we looking at a memory of Venom?
Ooh. I think it's, well, in the background, we saw the sort of yellow sort of flashes similar to that of Doctor Strange in the trailer, right? Where there's that sort of circular sort of motion. Yeah. So it would lead you to presume, and we know that he's in a different location because, like you said, the background's different in terms of it's a luxury bed.
The whole room changes. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a person there.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I thought when he was talking about, I thought he was talking about the planet of the symbiotes and Null. I thought
Clintar or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I thought, maybe the third film will kind of be Here Comes the King in Black scenario.
Yeah, I think it probably. I think I'll probably lean into a little bit of that. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, my apologies.
No, that's okay. That's what I kind of took from it. But then the other side of it, after thinking about it for a couple of days, is this Venom in the MCU, or is this a new Sony universe with Spider-Man from the MCU in? I think that's the other thing we need to like think about.
I don't know what you mean by that.
So, you know how you said, for example, Venom's been teleported into the MCU.
Oh, are you saying that this is a whole new universe where everything's been merged?
I'm thinking this might be a whole new Sony universe where Spider-Man from the MCU is in, because that would explain the title No Way Home, because there's no way back to the MCU. It's this new pocket dimension, new universe. I
get 100% what you're saying, and yes, I can totally see where you're coming from. I don't think this is the end of Spider-Man in the MCU. Like Marvel have lost, if we look at the grand scope of the MCU, Marvel have lost its two biggest guns. They've lost Captain America and they've lost Iron Man. You know, RDJ was the draw for the MCU. Chris Evans was a huge draw to it as well. They need mainstream big guns for Avengers movies, for other things moving forward. Spider-Man is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most popular superhero that Marvel has under its wing. You can argue with me all you want, guys, but like Spider-Man is it, like across so many generations. Spider-Man
and mediums as well,
and mediums, exactly. Like he is the hero. So if and for the other side of it, Sony and Marvel Studios have a multi-year agreement to use Spider-Man, to have Spider-Man. They've done an extension on it. Spider-Man's going to be in the MCU for a very, very long time. Tom Holland came out recently in an interview and said this is the end of his tenure. Not tenure. This is the end of his trilogy of home films. and he said that the next time you see a solo Spider-Man film, it will look tonally very different to what we've seen so far. My interpretation of that is that he plans to be Spider-Man for a while, and this is the end of him being a high school kid. Because don't forget, these whole things have been taking place whilst he's at school. You know, Homecoming was about his homecoming. Far From Home was about a school trip.
Yeah.
No Way Home is going to be about him probably growing up and like leaving school, you know, and leaving home, which is why there's No Way Home, because it's the end of his like life as high school. It's the end of like this era of things moving forward. I would imagine that the next time you'll see Spider-Man will be kind of, I don't want to be derivative of what the Maguire films did, but probably when he was living, you know, when he's living in that flat, trying to make ends meet, trying to sell photographs and stuff like that. We haven't seen that Peter Parker from Tom Holland. We've never seen that from him before. And the older Tom Holland gets, you're going to have to adapt things and change things. I think that it is a good theory you have about the Venomverse, the Spider-Verse coming like all together. Yes, I think that is what is happening, but I think that what it is that all the Sony films are being put into like, the way I look at it is like that weird like Venn diagram where you've got like you've got the MCU as one big bubble here, and you've got the Sonyverse here, and it's going to be they're both going to be like their own things, and then you've got Spider-Man as a bubble in the middle of it, and they both intersect over the top of it. So both can exist like with each other. That's fine. There can be some mixes because we're going to see the Vulture in Morbius.
Yes,
but like I really feel like this is Venom going into MCU in terms of kind of like there'll be those touch points. You know, they'll be their own things, but there'll be those touch points. I've never been more hyped for a theory that I've come up with than I am now after seeing the end of the Venom film. But no, it's one of the better after credits pieces that I've seen certainly in a Sony movie, but in a Marvel movie. It gets me excited. I think we may. There has to be. You can't do that. You cannot do that and not have there be some kind of Spider-Man interaction with Venom. It'll happen, and the next thing that it's gonna be is No Way Home. So there you go, right there. There's your setup. You know,
that's all it needed. One little after credits scene with Venom licking the TV with Spider-Man on it.
Yep. One hour and a half rush of ruining Carnage and a lick of a TV. That's all it takes to get Venom in the MCU. Feige had some bullet points of what he wanted to see. He wanted to see a terrible version of Carnage, and he wanted to see Venom licking TVs. And if those two things are matched, then over comes Brock into the MCU.
Here he comes.
Send it to Jeremy Clarkson at the end there. MCU. Sorry.
And on that bombshell. But what did you guys think? Did you think? Do you agree with Gigi's theory? Do you agree more with my theory? Ooh, interesting.
What's your theory? Oh, the Spider-Man. I agreed with your theory.
Yeah, you agreed with
it. What is that?
Yeah.
Now he's just doing it to be aggro, guys. You can hear it in his voice. I agreed with your theory.
You did agree. You did agree. But do the listeners agree? That's what I want to find out.
True.
As
he doesn't care about my opinion, guys. He wants to know what you guys think. Get in touch with us on all the social medias.
Exactly. All the relevant links will be in the description down below. Gigi, if they want to catch you on your live stream on twitch.tv/gentlemanlygamer, they can do so.
You did it right this week. Yeah. Yes. Twitch.tv/Gentlemanly Gamer. Correct. You can also find me on the gram at Gentlemanly Gamer. That is Instagram, by the way, just in case anyone doesn't know what I meant. Yeah, come along and give me your honest opinions and tell me how wrong I am. That would be great.
Perfect. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe. It'll help us out a bunch. And as always, we'll no doubt catch you next week.
God knows what we're going to talk about, but yeah, we'll catch you next week, guys. Maybe June.
Ooh.
June is out this week, guys. We may be talking about the Jason Momoa hotness from June.
I don't know. Oscar Isaac with that beard.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or what about what's his face? He's the guy who played Thanos. I can't remember what his name is now.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. That's it. Josh Brolin's swarthiness in it.
Ooh.
Or Batista and his slap-headedness. Tune in next week, guys. You'll find out.
As always, catch you on the next one.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.